News Central now at this hour begins in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, where the remains of Lieutenant Commander Gideon Gwaza have been laid to rest at the military cemetery in Abuja. Gwaza, who tragically lost his life while rescuing 59 persons from a sinking dredging vessel in Rivers State, hailed from Kaduna State. He is survived by his wife and 3 sons. Friends and family of the lieutenant says he will be deeply missed.
That the death of Commander Gwaza was not only a loss to his immediate family, but a loss to the family of the Nigerian Navy and also the armed forces. The Chief of Naval Staff commended him for his heroic exploits, saying even at the expense used to disobey any order, but listen to an order to try to rescue many who were stranded.
A recent report by SBM Intelligence has brought to light the grim reality of Nigeria's ongoing security crisis. The report, which details the situation in 2024, reveals that 3,277 persons were kidnapped in 135 mass abduction incidents across the nation, resulting in the loss of 125 lives. The report also highlights the Northwest and North Central regions as the most affected severely, with a combined total of 2,719 kidnappings. The violence has not spared religious figures either, with a Catholic priest killed and 20 others abducted. This analysis provides a stark visualization of Nigeria's persistent struggle with violence and insecurity, underscoring the urgent need to effectively come about with solutions to the ongoing crisis. Staying with security matters, the FCT Police Command has paraded some suspects involved in the alleged killing of 2 police officers during a clash with members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria in Abuja on Sunday, the 25th of August. They were arrested when the parade got violent on Sunday, resulting in the death of 2 police officers. 3 of them were released after being profiled. In the meantime, Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, has reaffirmed the Army's commitment to democratic governance, rejecting calls from powerful interest groups for military intervention. Speaking at the Army's combined 2nd and 3rd Quarters Conference in Uyo, Akwa Ibom, Lagbaja emphasized the Army's determination to uphold its integrity, which has been rebuilt over 25 years of staying out of power. Addressing concerns raised during the recent End Bad Governance protest, Lagbaja assured that the Army remains focused on maintaining national unity and security. He also highlighted the Army's efforts not only in combating threats like terrorism and banditry, but also in addressing the food crisis through massive food production initiative in collaboration with the government and private sector. Let's now tell you that Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chief of Army Staff to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, says there is no set timeline for implementing the Steve Oronsoye report. Speaking after a visit to the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative headquarters in Abuja, Gbajabiamila, a former Speaker of the House of Representatives, refuted claims that the progress of the report had stalled. He assured that the federal government is carefully planning to ensure a smooth implementation of the policy. The Oronsoye report, submitted in 2012, was initiated by former President Goodluck Jonathan in streamlining federal government parastatals, commissions, and agencies. It identified 541 entities and recommended reducing them to 161, with 38 agencies abolished and 52 merged. Nigeria's electoral umpire has announced the commencement of permanent voter card distribution to new applicants across all local government areas in Edo State. The process begins today, Wednesday. The Independent National Electoral Commission emphasized that cards will be released to third parties and urged applicants to collect their PVCs personally. INEC's National Commissioner Sam Olumekun reported that the ward-level distribution has already concluded, with 125,928 PVCs collected within 5 days, representing 68.3% of the 184,438 new cards issued during the recent continuous voter registration exercise. This marks the highest collection rate since INEC introduced the continuous voter registration system in 2015. Olumeko attributed the success in INEC's strategic organization, which involved packaging PVCs by polling units, wards, and local government areas, and directly informing voters about the availability of their cards. In Delta State, the government has begun talks with the State Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress and counterpart Trade Union Congress on the implementation of the new minimum wage, as workers in the state have expressed optimism, urging the committee not to shortchange their interest. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu, who spoke to a cross-session of the state workforce in Asaba, the state capital, tells us more.
The demands for new minimum wage for workers across Nigeria after President Bola Tinubu's pronouncement of subsidy removal became intensive as organized labor leaders, after several unproductive negotiations with governments, embarked on warning strikes, which culminated in an agreement of a new minimum wage of 70,000 naira as minimum wage for civil servants across Nigeria. After the agreement between the federal government and organized labor leaders, state governments were mandated to further discuss with the labor leaders in their states to agree on how much the states can pay their workforce. In Delta State, Governor Sheriff Oberewori at the State Executive Council meeting agreed to pay the new minimum wage, but directed Secretary to the state government and the Commissioner for Finance to meet with the organized labor in the state to work out the fine details.
Delta State will not go less. Because it's a law now. So we'll navigate between that 70 or more, as the case may be.
These civil servants applauded the governor's directives and urged the committee not to shortchange their interest at the negotiation table.
What we can advocate is to ensure for the state government and the committee, the labor committee, to ensure that the adjustment is not done in a way that it will shortchange workers.
Well, our government is not a biased one. I believe the people will be his choice.
As they say 70, if they want to pay the 70, they can pay it. But for my own opinion, if they can add it to 100, to be okay.
Even the government know that there's no 70,000 naira minimum wage can never be enough for every Nigerians, especially civil servants, to take care of their bills and the family. So we're expecting like 150 if they can, so that they can cushion the effects of the fuel hike and the things in the markets.
With the prevalent hardship in the country, it's imperative that the welfare of workers be made a top priority for employers of labor in both the public and private sector. In Asaba, for News Central, Austin Azu.
Let's talk about a business-related story. The Nigerian government has taken a significant step towards regulating the cryptocurrency industry with the Securities and Exchange Commission's decision to issue licenses for virtual asset providers. This move aims to establish a framework for the safe and secure operation of cryptocurrency exchanges, addressing concerns around fraud, consumer protection, and market stability. As the regulatory landscape evolves, it's essential to examine the implications of this shift on the operational framework of cryptocurrency exchanges, the measure in place to prevent fraud and protect consumers. Earlier, author, crypto investors, playbook, and online business consultant Silas Umwekwe spoke to us on this development.
The first stakeholders meeting we had with CBN in 2017, I said the best way to regulate cryptocurrency in Nigeria would not be from the CBN, but rather from the SEC. And, one of the ways they could do it, or one of the impact that it's going to have, is that it's going to bring some form of sanity into the system, because we would love to see some form of regulatory oversight, some form of compliance with KYC requirements, cost of consumer protection as well, which is one of the major reasons, because, it's actually very necessary. It's actually very necessary. And we would need some form of operational standards and provide some market stability in the system. So I think it's a step in the right direction. The issue with Sam Bankman-Fried's fraud case was the fact that money that belonged to users or belonged to customers, he put his hand inside and was using it to have a field day, right? So this is one of the reasons where, this is one of the reasons why we need this form of regulation. Because if there are regulations that are guiding, virtual asset providers, there will be enhanced transparency, and there will be some form of corporate governance standards, right? And also, because of these regulations, we would expect that there will be regular audits and inspections. And if all these things existed, I'm sure Sam would not have done what he did, because he would have been checked along the way.
Welcome back. Let's quickly bring you a health-related story. As resident doctors in Nigeria continue their one-week strike action, seeking the safe return of their colleague, Dr. Ganiat Bobola, who has spent several months in the den of kidnappers. Patients across the country are calling for a quick resolution of the issue, which has crippled activities across health facilities in the country. Some of them, while lamenting the absence of medical doctors in government hospitals, said they are unable to afford the cost of health services in private hospitals. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, tells us more.
The one-week industrial action by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors demanding the release of Dr. Ganiat Bobola, who was abducted about 8 months ago, has begun to take its toll on patients and medical facilities across the country.
It's a form of solidarity amongst, all the bodies, all the Association of Resident Doctor bodies nationwide, to tell them, the federal government, and to let them know that we want the immediate release of our colleague.
We have our monitoring teams going around to ensure full compliance. And I can tell you that the two of the strike, there's full compliance here in Federal Medical Center, Asaba.
While the association and its affiliate members have described their action as necessary, a visit to several health facilities highlights the challenges patients are now facing. At the Federal Medical Center in the nation's capital, Abuja, the turnout of patients was low as a result of the situation. The same was witnessed in Delta State as patients did not gain access to doctors for treatment.
Not be the way when people they come before, then they. If you look around now, then they counting.
I never see doctor, they never attend to me.
So even drugs that my normal routine drugs, out of all, they only gave me one and asked me to go and buy the rest for.
However, in Abia State, it was a total different scenario as patients were seen hanging around hospitals hoping to be attended by a medical doctor.
Today, we're supposed to come for checkup, they dress the wound, but up to now, they have not come. It's not their way, because by this time, they have to be here to attend to us.
Some members of the association empathized with patients on the challenge being posed by the situation.
We feel for the masses, we understand, but this is it's a very big picture. You have to look at the big picture. If doctors keep on working and then we get abducted every now and then, for one who has been abducted, you don't know what the person's fate is, you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Although the demand of the striking resident doctors is the safe release of Dr. Ganiat Popola, many patients are hoping that this saga will end as quick as possible. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idonk Joseph.
Earlier, Dr. Aminat Jalili, Secretary General of ARD Aboth Kaduna, spoke to us.
The hands are bleeding, the hearts are aching, and also the eyes are getting blind. So because of this, we understand, and we hope they will understand more. Doctors are not the health practitioners, though we know it's happening in the country. But now common, we are becoming a target. We are carrying out our services. Yes, we are essential workers, but our life too is also at stake. We work in fear. We can't move around even within the hospital. Even within your own compound, you can't live at peace. So they should please help us to call on all the stakeholders to kindly come to our aid, unite our sister back to us. She's one of us. Our space has been vacant for long. Many old, many young has gone blind because she has not been around. Our children have been living, watching every day for the arrival of their mom, both her husband. She has parents, and they are longing to welcome back.
The Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Moji Adegboye, has refuted claims circulating on social media that the agency has advised Nigerians to stop eating bread. In a statement on Tuesday, Adegboye dismissed the video as false, clarifying that NAFDAC has not issued any such warning. She emphasized that the use of saccharin in bread is prohibited under Nigerian and international food standards, and warned that bakers using unapproved additives will face sanctions. Adegboye also reiterated that the agency has not raised concerns about the safety of bread in the country. No fewer than 124 demonstrators arrested during the #EndBadGovernance protest across the nation will have to spend the next 60 days in police custody. This follows an order obtained by the federal government from the Federal High Court in Abuja, granting an interim order to remand the protesters until the conclusion of investigations. News Central's Emmanuel B tells us more.
From what began as a peaceful protest on the first day of August, where Nigerians both old and young thronged major streets across the country seeking for good governance, clashes were witnessed with security operatives who claimed the protest was hijacked. A lockdown across major cities, especially up north, was enforced and several arrests also made. However, the drama did not end with the protest, as findings have revealed that the federal government has allegedly obtained a court injunction to detain those arrested for the next 2 months, a situation not going down well with many of the civil movements in the country.
The order was given by Justice Emeka Hunwite of the Federal High Court Abuja, and it was given for 2 different sets of detainees. The first set was the 75 or 76 persons brought from the north for carrying Russian flag, which is their democratic human rights to free expression, free symbolic expression. And then 49 other protesters, including Michael Lenin, Monsieur Sodiq, Comrade Opalu Eleojo, Angel Innocent, and others.
Second, that they did not have access to fair hearing, or having access to their lawyers. Their side of the arguments could not be heard. Third, I'd like for us to look at the arguments that they had put forward to get the ex parte motion. One of the laws they had used, they used the Cybercrime Act and they used the Terrorism Prevention Act to get the remand order for these kids. Most of them were children. Does not make any sense at all. When did protests become acts of terrorism? We really need to be careful in this country.
Some have described the action by the government as a clampdown on the rights of citizens.
25th of August, do they need another 60 days to remand these children? Let's also be reminded that following the due process of law meant that, one, their lawyers needed to have been there, that some of the protesters were children, and reminding children that you should have not just their lawyers, but also you should have social workers present in court, able to give their perspectives on these issues.
Some of them with health conditions have not been able to get their medications. And right now, Sadiq leg and arms and body are swelling up.
You have ex parte applications where they try and restrict the freedom of movement or freedom of movement with regards to protests. They ask for extra access to people's information, violating their right to privacy. I think the Nigerian citizen has to charge the judiciary to ensure that they err on the side of human rights.
With the Justice Nwite's ruling currently on appeal, the 124 protesters arrested will have to remain in police custody pending the ruling of the appellate court. In Abuja for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
To discuss this, we are joined by a legal practitioner and public affairs analyst, Togo Oseru Wavja. He joins us from the United Kingdom virtually. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dapo, and good afternoon.
All right. Now, what do you make of the arrest and detention of these 124 protesters?
Okay, well, first of all, we should try to understand some certain things in this scenario. One is a peaceful protest which later clamours to in some areas to become riots. So, and you know, it is the right of every citizen to embark on any peaceful protest, freedom of expression and freedom of peaceful assembly, but it's also the right of the law enforcement agencies to protect life and property. So it's a two-way thing. And I'll say for sure that for those who express their opinion by peaceful protest, they may likely not be found guilty of any allegation at the tail end of these particular proceedings. But for those who are found capable, who turns the protest into riot, which led to invasion and destruction of properties and even the killing of fellow citizens, definitely they have their say in court. Then let me make it clear. If you say the proceedings back on by the police, I think is in line with the spirit of Section 35 sub 1 of the Constitution, because nobody can be held, and the right of every citizen's liberty is guaranteed, except by a court order which the police has embarked on by securing the court order. Then thereafter, what become of the court order? If you look at Section 297 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law, Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, that is where the court acted upon the application of the police. Then the people complaining, they also have remedy for such application. If you look at Section 298 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, also gives those people the liberty to make application for them to be brought before the court and other applications for them to be had, or put out argument for the court to relent on that particular long period of detention, which the remand the court has granted. So it's a two-way thing. So the law is still open for the remand suspects because they are suspects because they've not taken their plea. So the room is still open. It's left for the civil society to come together and the parents of the people who are currently in remand to approach several, like the NBA, the Human Rights Committee of the NBA. I think they can also provide free legal services for them.
All right. Now, let's talk about some specific charges or reasons, being cited by the federal government for the detention of these demonstrators, one of which is the branding of foreign flags in the country. What do you make of that?
Well, it sounds somehow weird to me because to the best of my knowledge, Nigeria as a country, either by diplomacy or by law or by gazette, has never declared any nation to be an enemy of the state. They've never, and I've never seen any gazette by the current Attorney General or previous Attorney General or previous administration to have declared any nation to be an enemy of the state. So branding such a flag of that nation will become or transmit into terrorism or an offense. It's not an offense for you to brand the flag of any other nation in Nigeria, except like I put, except Nigeria by gazette or by diplomatic relation declare such a nation as an hostile nation to Nigeria. That is where you now see you become a spy, or you become a threat to Nigeria holding the flag of that nation. But to the best of my knowledge, and I think if the Attorney General of the Federation or his office can advise us or can tell Nigerians if any nation has been declared to be an enemy of Nigeria for holding such a flag to be an offense. A good example, you can look at our hotels, you can look at some religious centers, you can even look at companies who flagged flag of other nations. It's never an offense. So, but let's see what will become of these proceedings that the police has initiated, and the people who are custodians of the law, who are protectors of our law. Let's see what will become of this. So, to the best of my knowledge, I think I won't want to preempt the outcome of the investigation.
All right.
I want to preempt the outcome of the proceedings. But one thing I know for sure, there are people who are trapped in this kind of situation, they have remedy by law. And that remedy, they can go by tort by way of malicious prosecution. So at the end of it, if they come out innocent in these proceedings.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Towo.
You are welcome.
The Democratic Republic of Congo is making international headlines as the public prosecutor has requested the death penalty for 50 individuals, including 3 American citizens, involved in an attempted coup on May 19th. Defense lawyer Darius Sheye has criticized the prosecutor's request as indiscriminate, arguing that seeking such a severe penalty for all defendants without considering individual circumstances undermines justice. The lawyer contends that applying the death penalty collectively raises serious concerns about the proportionality and fairness of the proposed sentences. The case has attracted significant attention, highlighting debates about the appropriate response to the alleged crimes.
De la République démocratique du Congo. Et enfin, la mise en hibernation du président de la République, chef de l'État. Voilà les motivations de ces terroristes.
Sévère. Il est très sévère parce que ce réquisitoire ne correspond pas à la vérité des faits. Lorsque le ministère public requiert la peine de mort in globo, comme moi je l'appelais, indistinctement, ça ne me semble pas juste. Ça me semble un forfait. Il faudra que la réplique de la défense soit à la hauteur du réquisitoire. Voilà pourquoi nous avons estimé qu'il serait malvenu dans l'intérêt de la défense.
In a significant development in Libya's financial sector, Deputy Governor Abdul Fattah Ghaffar has affirmed the Apex Bank's dedication to adhering to national and international regulations. This comes as the United States recently supported United Nations efforts to resolve disputes between Libya's rival administrations over central bank management. U.S. intervention is critical in ensuring these discussions do not impact Libya's essential oil revenues. The central bank's commitment to legal and regulatory standards could be key in stabilizing Libya's financial sector and boosting international confidence as the situation unfolds.
صندوق النقد الدولي والبنك الدولي من خلال المحافظ اللي موجود من وزارة المالية وبلغناه برسائل تطمين ان راهو مجلس إدارة يعني تاع مجلس إدارة مصرف المركزي ملتزم بكل القواعد الدولية وملتزمين بالامتثال للتشريعات. التسليم والاستلام يعني صح هي استلام إداري ولكن تم بكل بساطة وبكل سلاسة وما فيش ولا باب ولا مفتاح تكسر ولا مكتب خشولة عنوة بل كانت كلها بالوسائل المتاحة.
We now head to Southern Africa, where in a series of ongoing raids in South Africa, police in Durban arrested more than 150 undocumented migrants on Tuesday. The detainees are currently in custody. During the operation, police also uncovered guns, drugs, and other illegal items. The primary objective of these raids is to target overrun, hijacked buildings, many of which have been used as crime dens. A bag filled with counterfeit dollars was also discovered. News Central's Bongani Sisiba is on the ground and will provide us with further details on the raids. Bongani, thank you for joining. Now, what can you tell us about the ongoing raids?
Good to see you, Dapo. Right, like you have rightfully said, that these raids are about the ongoing raids that are happening in South Africa from all corners, and they did not start now with Durban. They are ongoing every day. We are seeing police on our streets, police coming to houses and flats, conducting those raids rather to fetch out those who are involved in criminal activities. When I speak about the recent one in Durban, it was not targeted at any foreign nationals. Just to be clear about what is going on social media, that 120 Nigerians were arrested, just immigrants who are illegal in the country, who were arrested during that part of the raids. We all know that Durban is an economic hub, and also economic activities happens there, and also tourists come to Durban. So usually crime happens in beaches where tourists will be. So police were just doing their job and conducting those raids, fetching out criminals in those areas. Also, you spoke about the hijacked buildings. So close to the harbors, there are hijacked buildings that are now used by criminals to stay in those buildings and doing all sort of criminal activities. Like the police said that when they entered one of the buildings, there was a lot of dollars that was fake, rather dollars that was found in those buildings, and guns and everything that is of criminality element was found in those buildings. So rather, it's raids that are happening in South Africa, not only targeting foreigners, but it's police that are doing their job. Like any other country, the authorities would want to see tourists being safe when they come into the country. Even if we are not talking about tourists, also citizens and also foreigners included, they would want to be in a country that is safe. So it's just police doing their job, their everyday routine. Even here in Johannesburg, those raids are also happening. So it's not about foreigners that are being targeted. But if you are a foreigner and you are in the country illegally, and it happens that you come up, you meet the police rather, and they ask for documentation and you don't have it, they'll definitely arrest you. So this is just ongoing raids that are happening in the country, and the police are just doing their job.
All right. Just before I let you go, let's talk about the profiling of many of these undocumented migrants. Has that been established, and has it also sparked some sort of diplomatic relations with the countries of origins of these migrants?
Dapo, what usually happens when you are an illegal migrant and you are arrested, I don't know about that, if there are any diplomatic talks that should be there, because you are already illegal. So it means that you are taken to court, and in court you explain why you are in the country illegal, then you are deported. But at this moment, we don't know which nationals were arrested. We only know that they were illegal immigrants, which means it can be Zimbabweans, Nigerians, Zambians, anyone who is found in the country illegally in that place at that moment when the raids were happening were arrested. But we don't know exactly which nationalities were arrested.
All right, Bongani, thank you for your time. Now, still in Southern Africa, in this modern age of globalization, it's vital for every citizen to feel connected and supported, no matter where they are in the world. Now, for Nigerians living in Lesotho, this may not be the case, as they face numerous challenges, ranging from securing essential documents to accessing vital information about their rights and entitlements. In a heartfelt appeal, they are calling on the Nigerian government to consider their plight and extend its support, ensuring their voices are heard and their needs met. According to them, the absence of consular services means that many Nigerians in Lesotho are left vulnerable, lacking critical assistance when it comes to legal action, healthcare access, and also even emergencies. Now, News Central's Bongani Sinzaba has more.
Nigerians have made a home in many parts of the world, including Mauritania's Kingdom of Lesotho. Today, I met with one Nigerian who spoke about their pressing needs. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
There are different classes of Nigeria in Lesotho. You can say some has no problem who are professionals, but some who are professional, who are not professional, who sell things are becoming difficult globally as well. So it's a very difficult and hectic. I've seen people losing their livelihood because most of Basotho or other people are going to the business they were doing before. So it's not as lucrative as before. So it's difficult for most Nigerians who even some intend to go back to Nigeria in order to continue their life, because traveling back to Nigeria is difficult because some cannot even get the air ticket to go back. So it's a very difficult situation that the government might need to assist, or the organization here might do more in order to help this individual.
For them, it's not just about having paperwork, it's about having a recognized space to turn for support and guidance.
The Nigerian government, I think what they can also do, we are Africans, they need to come and have bilateral agreement with Lesotho, so that Nigerians that are in Lesotho, they can be documented and they can be assisted, just like any nationals that we are in any country, so that at least we know there are no vulnerable Nigerians here in Lesotho, because I believe they came here because they have seen there some opportunities. So they need to be assisted as well, so that they can become vulnerable in the making. There are also Nigerians that you can see that they've been smuggled into Lesotho to come and work for other Nigerians that are not paying them well. So that itself we have seen is a gap that they need, through their government or their embassy, time to time, they need to be regularly checked.
It's not just about them being labeled as foreigners. They contribute to the community economically, socially, and culturally.
The Nigerians, we know they're dedicated and they're hardworking. We have been, most of us, as me, I've worked in Lesotho for so long, and Lesotho is my home. I'm not going to say anything to say. As a Nigerian, anywhere you find yourself and are comfortable, it's your home. Lesotho has been, for us as a professional, has been peaceful. They give you what you require if you are a professional. The only problem you have is that you do not do more than yourself. Because once you abide by the rule, I believe everything comes in place.
Their voices echo the frustrations of a community feeling overlooked and unheard.
So you have a large number of Nigerians who are here who cannot renew their passport. As a result, some of them are stranded. Based on the economic situation, things are tough for them. Crossing the border is difficult for them. And sometimes, if you are caught, you will know the consequence of what is happening. So it has been a very difficult thing for most Nigerians living in Lesotho to renew their passport if they are not professional. So it's been very good for the government of Lesotho to have a way of inviting, because the organization needs to invite the South Africa consulate to come to Nigeria. But recently, as I said earlier, they have not been coming.
In their spirit of resilience and unity, Nigerians living in Lesotho say they are determined to advocate for their rights and establish a stronger presence in Lesotho. In Maseru, Lesotho, for News Central, Bongani Sinzaba.
Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has embarked on a pivotal diplomatic tour in West Africa, commencing in Nouakchott, the capital of Mauritania. This visit marks the start of a three-nation tour designed to address the recent surge in irregular migration impacting Spain. Upon arrival, Sanchez received a warm reception from Mauritania's president and key government officials. The discussion centered on cooperative strategies to manage migration flows and bolster regional stability.
Constituye una buena herramienta para gestionar de manera ordenada y legal el flujo de migrantes. Junto con este primer memorándum de entendimiento, en segundo lugar, y como complemento a lo anterior, o de nuestro sistema público de pensiones.
Beaucoup sur l'engagement personnel de son Excellence le Président Sanchez pour la facilitation de la migration légale des citoyens mauritaniens vers l'Espagne et l'Europe, la promotion de la migration circulaire en faveur des jeunes Mauritaniens et l'exemption des visas Schengen pour les
Paralympic gets underway today in Paris with more than 4,400 athletes with various disabilities set to participate in 22 sports. With the opening ceremony scheduled for today, the world will be focused on the Place de la Concorde, with the first of the 549 gold medals to be awarded on Thursday. Action will conclude with the closing ceremony at the Stade de France on Sunday, 8th of September. Now, nearly 2 million tickets have been sold, with about 500,000 still available. After the success of the Paris Olympics, organizers say this is only half-time. The Paris Games will feature a record number of delegations and female athletes, as this will also be televised in more territories than ever before. Italian Serie A club Udinese has parted ways with Nigerian strikers Isaac Sanchez. The Zebras announced on their official website on Tuesday. Sanchez endured an underwhelming performance in the 2023-24 Serie A season, registering just a goal and an assist in 27 matches for the club. Now, the Super Eagles forward joined the white and black from their sister club, Watford, in 2021, but currently appears to be surplus to requirements at the Blue Energy Stadium. Following the club's decision on Tuesday, Sanchez is reportedly attracting transfer interest from Turkish club, and he is expected to find a new home on or before the European transfer deadline on Saturday. Liverpool have agreed to sign Georgia goalkeeper Georgy Malikatidze from the Valencia in a deal worth up to 29 million euros. The 23-year-old will join subject to a work permit and international clearance for a fee of 25 million euros plus 4 million euros in add-ons. However, he will remain with the La Liga club this season before moving to Merseyside for the start of the 2025-26 campaign. The player played in Georgia's 4 games at Euro 2024 before they were knocked out by eventual winners Spain in the last 16. Brazil international Alisson Becker remains the Reds' first-choice goalkeeper, while new manager Arne Slot also has Republic of Ireland stopper at his disposal this season. Now, national defender Xan Aand, who collapsed on the pitch after suffering an irregular heartbeat last week, has died. His Uruguayan club announced today. The 27-year-old had been undergoing medical treatment since collapsing during the National Copa Libertadores game against Sao Paulo on August the 22nd. The player fell to the ground unconscious in the 84th minute without coming into contact with another player. He was taken off the pitch in an ambulance before being treated at the intensive care unit of the Albert Einstein Hospital. The hospital said in a statement that he had died as a result of brain death following a cardiopulmonary arrest associated with cardiac asthenia. And that's all on the news at this time. But before we go, another look at some of our top stories. We told you that heroic naval officer Gideon Gwaza laid to rest. We also told you that NAFDAC refutes rumors on ban on bread, warns bakers on the use of saccharin. The Central Bank of Libya commits to international standards. Don't forget to send in your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. You can also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live across these platforms: DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Abo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Dapo Adegboye. Bye for now.